freedom, 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 freedom.
This is Freedom Global News. This is Freedom Global News.
Kano State Police Command arrests. Court of Appeal orders Academic Staff Union of University. Along the foreign scene, former South African sentence ends. Freedom Global News on 99.5 FM. I am Hauwa Adamu Kiyawa. Today is the 7th of October, 11th of Rabiul Awwal, 1444 after Hijri. Now the news in full. The Kano State Police Command said it has arrested one of the escaped prisoners of Kochi. Police Public Relations Officer SP Abdullahi Haruna Kiyawa disclosed this today. Police officers arrested the escapee Abubakar Muhammad September 2022.
On 23rd September 2022, based on credible information, a team of Operation Restore Peace attached to the Command's Criminal Investigation Department arrested one Abubakar Muhammad Sadiq, a male Kaduna North local government area of Kaduna State, a suspected Kuje Correctional Center escapee.
He further added that the commissioner of the arrested prisoner to the Nigeria Correctional Service, Kano State Command. Evilectomy or uvula removal remains widespread in Nigeria, where the houses of group and other ethnic groups are usually performed by barbers called wanzame. Traditional uvulectomy is a procedure which consists of cutting. Changes associated with traditional uvulectomy is due to limited knowledge. Driska Kwa takes a look at the severity of the issue and files in this report.
Uvulectomy is a procedure in which uvula is a veil-shaped organ that hangs from the top of the throat. Some traditional healers do it in some cultures on the 7th day, which is one of the harmful practices because it's done under unhygienic conditions. Excision comes with a lot of diseases that can be transmitted through blood-to-blood contact. Sterilized. Freedom Radio interviews some Kano residents on their opinion on uvulectomy.
Even though that in our tribe,
we don't do uvula excision in our tribe. Uvula, we are doing it in our tribe, but it's something that we are going to remove it from the throat of baby.
Professor University Dutsamma and also the head of traditional barbers, Sarkin Askar Yariman Katsina, said uvulectomy was started as a form of immunization.
It's an old tradition among the Hausa people. No one can tell you a result of human need. The Hausa people do castrate uvula as a form of immunization. So uvula can be infected. When infected, it became swallowed and became reddish. As a result, it leads to the person affected.
Dr. Yan Garba, a consultant public health physician at Aminu Kano Teaching Hospitals, highlights the body.
It has its own function. It's not useless. It's a very useful structure there. So why must you remove it? It's been created by God, and God wants it to be that way. When it comes with a lot of dangers. In the first place, there is a risk of transmission of infectious diseases, which is very common now. A lot of diseases can be transmitted these instruments that are being used are not sterilized, they are being recycled, can transmit dangerous diseases like HIV, hepatitis. Blood-to-blood transmission has contributed so much in the spread of these diseases.
According to medical experts, Nigerians continue to practice the undying culture of uvulectomy. This Bara'at Idris Garkwa, Freedom Radio.
On the sporting arena, the Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Sunday Diary, has inaugurated another main organizing committee of the National Sports Festival, tagged Delta 2020, for planning and participation at the 21st edition of the Games. Zamna has details of this and other sports updates.
On Thursday in his office at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium in Abuja, called on members of the newly inaugurated subcommittees to put in their best towards ensuring a successful hosting and hitch-free National Sports Festival. Permanent Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports Development and Chairman Main Organizing Committee, MOC, optimism that with the caliber of people nominated to serve on the various subcommittees, the 21st National Sports Festival will Nigerians. In another update, the Super Eagles will confront the senior national team of Costa Rica in a prestigious San Jose on November 9th. Nigerian Football Federation, NFL, Data Sports stated that the three-time African champions have been invited to the Central American nation as part of major activities to send forth the lost team. The game scheduled for the National Stadium in San Jose will kick off at 3 a.m. November 10th in Nigeria. The Super Portugal in Lisbon on November 17th. Meanwhile, Wolves say Portugal forward Pedro Neto will miss the 2022 World Cup as 22-year-old suffered the injury in their 2-0 defeat by West Ham on Saturday, 1st October, when he was substituted after 24 minutes. The Premier League club said that Neto strained his lat for Portugal while he was in their squad for recent National League's game against the Czech Republic and Spain. He did not play in either. Tarzana, Freedom Radio.
The Global News is coming to you from Freedom Radio 99.5 FM. You can send your comments, opinions on Facebook.com. You can get the link to the page on our website, freedomradionig.com, or call us through this number, 082 4441 63. Welcome back. You're still listening to Freedom Global News on 99.5 FM. A court of appeal sitting in Abuja has ordered the academic staff of its strike immediately. The appellant court stated that calling off the strike is the only condition that the union's request to appeal the ruling of the National Industrial Court could be given effect. After a series of setbacks in its negotiation with ASU, the federal government had dragged the union to the National Industrial Court. 2022, Justice Polycarp Mann, the presiding judge, directed the striking lecturers to resume work immediately pending the resolution of their dispute with the government. The judge had predicated his action on Section 18 of the Trade Dispute Act that empowers him to make such decisions in the interests of the nation. In today's ruling, the presiding judge ordered the lecturers to go back to work immediately. Depression is a significant public health problem, and at a prevalence rate of 3.9%, where 7 million Nigerians currently suffer from it. According to adversity have been associated with depression, with the high poverty rate of the country, the difficulties faced by Nigerians every day, it is likely that the prevalence of depression among Nigerians will continue to increase. Correspondent Ragaya Abdullahi Maida takes a look at the effects of depression and files in this report.
Deep brain, where some chemical usually get released, causing feelings of sadness and a loss can lead to a variety of emotional and physical problems and can decrease your ability home. Research findings show that the possible causes include a combination of biological causes of distress. Some of those suffering from depression gave credit to how the disease affects them and their current situation.
Sometimes I feel anxiety. Neglected? No, I don't feel neglected. My family has been up and doing, my doctors, my
A psychologist at Aminu Kano Teaching Hospital explains the disease and it is.
Yes, that is characterized by persistent sad feelings, reducing or lack of energy as the three main symptoms, but there are other symptoms such as feeling, and they will see the people around them not to offer any help to them. Easily, they feel the world with them, and they even wish that death.
Dr. Haruna also shed more light on preventive measures to take.
Prevention is a different topic on itself, but we can see if you, for example, this positive psychology targets being positively healthy as a the things you do in that can be said here are, for example, eating natural food, exercise.
Research suggests that unemployment, living in an abusive or uncaring relationship, loneliness, prolonged work, stress are more likely to life stress, medication, and physiotherapy are. Abdullahi Maida, Freedom Radio.
The African government said the former South African president, Jacob Zuma, has been set free following the expiry of his prison sentence. Kwamasan Uba reports.
Jacob Zuma received a 15-month sentence last year after corruption inquiry. He handed himself in on July 7 regarding the worst violence South Africa had seen in years. Zuma was released on medical parole in September 20. High Court set aside the parole decision and ordered him to return to jail. No parole pending the appeal outcome. His appeal had expired. Muhammad Sani Uba, Freedom Radio.
With this, we've come to the end of today's global news. But before we go, highlights. Kano State Police Command said it is Fiji Correctional Center.
Global News.
Appeal sitting in Abuja has ordered the Academic Staff Union of University former South African President Jacob Zuma has prison sentence for contempt of court today. To have the entire production team, I am Hauwa Adamu Kiyawa. Have a wonderful